When one of your directors is the writer of Moonfall and Expendables 4, and your other director is the executive producer of the Expendables 4, that's when you know you're in good hands. Alright, so Tarot. Let's do this. So Tarot is the latest horror offering to us, and it's written and directed by Spencer Cohen and Anna Hellberg in their feature film directorial debut for the both of them. Now this is also co-written by Nicholas Adams, and it's based on a 1992 novel, Horoscope, which funny enough, it's still called Horoscope, the original working title on IMDb. I was very confused when I was just trying to get the basic info for this film before going into seeing this, and I'm like, is that the same fucking film? But no, apparently it was originally called Horoscope, like the novel, and then they changed it to Tarot. So when a group of friends recklessly violates the sacred rule of a tarot reading, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the curse cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death. That is probably the most thrilling description of this film. So guys, right off the bat, this film was crook. And I take no pleasure in saying that. And a lot of it, well, most of it comes down to the writing. There have been murmurs that this script was churned out by ChatGPT, aka AI. Who the hell knows if that's true? If it really is true, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I had no investment in these characters whatsoever. And again, that is akin to the writing. On paper, the premise itself sounds intriguing. It's cool. The tarot cards, the creatures, the characters, what you see on the tarot cards eventually come to life and kill you. It's kind of reminiscent of like The Ring, where you have these rules where eventually you will die, you will be stalked, and you will be killed. And it's interesting when to see these tarot characters on the cards and think, how are they going to translate into real life? That is what I found enjoyment in this film. And that is only a skerrick of enjoyment. The rest is just an absolute letdown, unfortunately. So when I was booking my ticket this afternoon, the cinema was empty. And then when I came in, there was a shitload of teenagers because it's raining this afternoon, it's cold, so it's a good day for the movies. So I went and double checked the seat map. And like, it was full all around me up the back. Usually I sit right up the back in the corner because I can have my phone on low like exposure and like low light so I can write notes for the film. And I'm like, I don't want to be up there with a group of fucking teenagers in the back. They're going to be loud and obnoxious. I'm like, excuse me, can you please move me down the front? And yeah, they were really cool. They moved me right down the front, and thank fuck, because they were so loud. But there was a lady in front of me with a pram, with a baby in it. The baby slept the whole time through the movie, which says a lot. I'm going to try and keep this as short and as painless as possible because this is the tropiest horror film ever. It just is so cookie cutter. It's so extremely predictable. And one of the characters, Haley, they try to inject this backstory regarding her mother and her history with her mother. And because I just had no care or pathos for any of these characters, I just did not care at all. I was in fact zoning out at times. I equate that to when you're driving your car and you've done this trip multiple times, like even hundreds of times. And you know when you go in autopilot and you just zone out and you get to your destination and you get out of the car, lock the car, and you're like, fuck me, I don't even remember what the hell just happened. I just got here. I was doing that at times. I'm like, this is not good. I'm not invested in this film. I'm not invested in these characters. And again, I was intrigued by how these creatures looked, and I respected the fact that they kept them in shadows for most of the time. But apart from that, this film was just a massive bore fest, guys. To me, I equate this to kind of like a rejected Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, or like up there with Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I think this is PG-13 in the States, so it's M15 plus here. In terms of the gore, it's very hidden. Like, they do a lot of cutaways when something's just about to happen, so there's minimal blood in this one. So again, I think that's why it has that vibe of like a really, really pushing it Goosebumps episode in terms of gore, and also like Are You Afraid of the Dark. There's a flashback scene where they try and set up the history of the tarot cards and the inclusion of these creatures, and they try to just inject some lore. And it just, again, because of the writing, because of my lack of investment in these characters and what's going on, I couldn't care less. And I hate saying that because I saw the trailer so many bloody times for this film. Every time I'd go and see a horror film, like when I went and saw Immaculate, First Omen, Imaginary, they always played this trailer. I'm like, I know exactly how this film is going to go. And I feel like they gave away so much in that trailer regardless. And that's not saying much. So guys, in the end, Taro is extremely forgettable, extremely lackluster. I had no investment in these characters whatsoever. It was intriguing to me to see how they translated the characters on the tarot cards from being 2D to 3D. I respect the fact that they kept them hidden in darkness, but it still just does not save this film, unfortunately. Save your dollary dues, wait for it to come out on streaming if you are desperate enough, or put your dollary dues towards the 4K version of the original Crow. So with that, I'm going to be giving Taro 1 Ned from Spider-Man out of 5. So I had a thought, like, again, because the premise is somewhat interesting, but the execution for this film was just absolutely lackluster, I figured, what if someone like Guillermo del Toro took the reins of a film like this and tried to make it his own and inject his Del Toro-ness into something like this and have that twisted, grim fairy tale approach to it? I think it could have been quite interesting. Love you guts, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.